Hello, my friends. How are you? If you are new here, I highly recommend you subscribe to our channel and hit the bell down to not miss a single one of our new lesson. And give to us some support by hitting like button. There is no doubt. Our lessons will help you to improve your English fluency. And good luck learning English. Lesson 9. A visit to Stratford. Lilian, Mr. Priestley's niece, is staying, with her brother Andrew, at the Priestley's house. She writes a letter home. April 24th. Dear Mother and Father, we had a heavenly day yesterday. Cousin John is home from Oxford for a short holiday. He calls it vacation, so he took Margaret and Andrew and me in Uncle Charles's car to Stratford-on-Avon, the place where Shakespeare was born and died. It was a very suitable day, for yesterday was April 23rd, that is St. George's Day, the Saint of England, and that is the day on which Shakespeare was born, and also the day on which he died. Stratford is a very interesting town, right in the center of England. You can't get very far from the sea anywhere in England, but Stratford is about the farthest point you can get from it. It's nice to think that Shakespeare was born right in the heart of England and in the midst of country that is so typically English, quite unlike our Scottish country round Inverness. There are no mountains or deep valleys near Stratford, there's nothing of the grand scenery that we have round the Cairngorms, but there are beautiful woods, green fields, a quiet gentle river, the winding Avon, and lovely houses, black and white with thatched roofs. Stratford is quite a busy town, especially on market day when the farmers from the countryside round Stratford come to buy or sell cows or pigs or sheep. At least so John told me, and he knows Stratford well. But it wasn't market day yesterday, so we were able to look round comfortably. The first place we went to was Shakespeare's birthplace, a small house with small rooms in the center of Stratford. We saw the very room where Shakespeare was born. Lots of people who had visited the house had written their names on the walls. It seemed a wrong thing to do, although among the names were Walter Scott, Dickens, Thackeray, and Browning. In one room was a little wooden desk, the very desk that Shakespeare sat in when he went to the grammar school in Stratford. But one of the things I liked best was the garden behind the house, because in it are growing all the flowers, trees, and plants that are mentioned in Shakespeare's plays. When Shakespeare became successful in London, he bought the biggest house in Stratford, a house called New Place, to retire to. Here he probably wrote The Winter's Tale and The Tempest, and here he died. Well, I wanted to see that, but there's nothing left of it but a few bricks in the garden. The man who owned it, Mr. Gastrell, was so bad-tempered, because so many people came to see the house, that he pulled it down. It's hard to believe that, isn't it? But John said it's true. Shakespeare had planted a mulberry tree in the garden and Mr. Gastrell cut that down, too, but the people of Stratford took pieces of the tree and planted one of them in the garden of New Place, and that tree is still growing there. I'm sorry to say that while we were not looking at him, Andrew took a piece of it, about 3 inches long, from one of the branches. He said he knew Uncle Charles was very fond of Shakespeare and so he was going to plant his little piece in Uncle Charles's garden so that Uncle Charles could have a tree from Shakespeare's tree. Then we went to the church where Shakespeare is buried. There's a bust of Shakespeare that was carved by a Dutch sculptor who lived near Shakespeare's Globe Theatre and must have seen Shakespeare many a time, and on the stone of Shakespeare's grave are the lines, "Good friend, for Jesus' sake forbear to dig the dust enclosed here. Blessed be the man that spares these stones. And cursed be he that moves my bones." John said that, though it wasn't very good poetry, it was almost certainly written by Shakespeare himself. At any rate, I'm glad it has been successful in keeping anyone from moving his bones. By this time we were very hungry. Andrew had been saying for the last hour or so that he would be glad when it was time for lunch. So John took us to a very old hotel that was probably there in Shakespeare's time. It had some beautiful Tudor tables and chairs, and the rooms haven't numbers on the doors as most hotels have. Instead, every room has the name of a Shakespeare play on it: the Hamlet room, the Romeo and Juliet room and so on. And we had a jolly good lunch there. After lunch John took us across the fields, about a mile out of Stratford, to Anne Hathaway's cottage. Anne Hathaway was the woman that Shakespeare married, and the cottage is just as it was in Shakespeare's time. There are the old chairs by the fireplace where Shakespeare must have sat, the plates from which he probably ate his dinner, and a leather bottle from which Anne poured out beer for him. In that little house I felt as if I was living in the 17th century, and if Shakespeare had come walking down the narrow stairs I shouldn't have felt very surprised. Shakespeare Memorial Theatre, Stratford. We had a look at the Shakespeare Memorial Theatre, built on rather plain practical lines. Someone said it was like a modern factory, but John said it has the best stage in England. I wish we could have seen a play there. They were doing A Midsummer Night's Dream that evening, but all the tickets had been sold long ago. However, John is going to try to get seats for us for another night. We were very tired when we got back, but it had been a lovely day, and I do hope John can get those tickets. Lots of love. Lilian. Exercises. Exercise 1. Use the following words and phrases in sentences. Heavenly, grave, stage. Typical, branch, carve. Unlike, at any rate, long ago. Wooden, jolly good, in the midst of. Plant, verb, leather, vacation. Plant, noun, poor, thatched. Sculptor, practical. Exercise 2. Give questions to which the following are answers. You will find these openings helpful. Did she? Is it? Why? Where? When? Has? What? Who? What sort of? Are? How many? 1. Shakespeare was born in Stratford. 2. It was on April 23. 3. He died in 1616. 4. It is quiet, gentle scenery. 5. He bought the biggest house in Stratford. 6. It was called New Place. 7. Yes, he probably wrote The Winter's Tale and The Tempest there. 8. Because he was bad-tempered about the number of people who came to see it. 9. Andrew took a piece of the mulberry tree. 10. Because he knew Uncle Charles was very fond of Shakespeare. 11. It was carved by a Dutch sculptor. 12. No, John did not think it was good poetry. 13. No, they aren't. Each room is called by the name of a Shakespeare play. 14. No, it is quite modern. 15. Yes, it is said to be the best in England. 16. 3. Margaret, John, and Andrew. 17. No, it is about as far from the sea as you can get in England. 18. She lives near Inverness in Scotland. 19. No, she went by car. 20. Yes, she said it had been a lovely day. Exercise 3. Put in the missing words. 1. You can't get very far from the sea in England. 2. The scenery round Stratford is quite the Scottish countryside Inverness. 3. Shakespeare was in Stratford and he there too. 4. It seemed that visitors should their names on the walls. 5. In the garden grow all the flowers, trees, and plants that are in Shakespeare's. 6. When Shakespeare became in London, he knew plays to 2. 7. Mr. Gastrell the tree down. 8. Andrew a piece about 3. 9. Then we went to the church where Shakespeare is. 10. There are 4 of poetry on Shakespeare's. Exercise 4. Rearrange the following sentences, putting the words in their correct order. 1. You to Stratford been have ever? 2. In yes 1955 went I. 3. Winds through the slowly the river Avon town. 4. Cottage about a mile and Hathaway's from Stratford is. 5. Hob when Stratford to went, Avon fell into the he. 6. Was this funny very thought Olaf. 7. But the garden is left nothing of new place and a few bricks. 8. Well John Stratford knew Oxford because is it near quite. 9. Glad in the heart was Shakespeare right I am of England born. 10. Many books wrote Dickens name his and also of the house on the wall born Shakespeare where was. Composition exercises. 1. Write a letter to a friend telling him what you hope to see and do when you visit Stratford, or, if you have been there, tell him what you saw and did. 2. Describe the birthplace of a famous man in your country. Dear friends, thank you for watching our channel and learning English with us. Subscribe. And we wish you great luck in achieving your goals.